super common for guys to hire other dudes to sleep with their girlfriend.
At like the elite level, you're saying?
Usually in a range of a minimum, what appears to be 20 years older than this. So you get this guy that maybe he met his woman he was 45 and she was 20. Now they've been together 15 years and she's 40, which women go into the height of their desires.
At 40?
Late 30s,
oh, wow.
mid 40s.
I didn't know that.
And now this guy's 60 years old and he's like, can't keep up. So a lot of these guys will go out and then hire guys to supplement, but it's under my control.
All right, guys, we got Sharay Hayes here today. Got the book here. I just started it. It's a very interesting book, man. So congrats on becoming an author, first of all.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, was it a pretty tough process to get this thing to the finish line?
Not once when I decided to do the work. I tried to start the route with the ghostwriters and stuff like that, where I was just going to tell a story and they was going to get it down. But the stories are so personal and my real stories, so I had to just write it myself. And once I decided to, I really probably got it out and done in probably about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Not, man. Because everything was here. Once I got the format, I was able to get it down pretty easy.
Was it a big weight lifted off your shoulders, finally being able to tell some of this stuff for you?
I won't say weight lifted over my shoulders because it was an epiphany, right? I just know I went through trying to solve the erectile dysfunction issue, which was killing me, right? And once I got it solved and figured out and started helping other people, it became like an epiphany, like, yo, I got to get this information out here because everybody's going the wrong route. They're trying to solve it the wrong way. So it's more of a gratification, right? Because I know it's valuable information and it's reaching people now. So it's more of a fulfilling thing.
It's needed, man. The statistics on ED these days are pretty absurd.
It is absurd. And the statistic that threw me off the most was over 50% of the cases are mental. There was nothing wrong with me physically.
Holy crap.
Nothing wrong with it.
So is that like a trauma thing, maybe?
It's an anxiety-based thing. So people don't realize is when you experience anxiety, you release a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol restricts your blood vessels. So while you're taking Viagra, Cialis, all these pills to open up your blood vessels, then anxiety is giving you a completely different effect. And it's stronger than the pills.
Wow.
But nobody's discussing this, right? So if you're having anxiety-based, mental-based, and you grab a pill, you're using a physical fix to a mental issue, and then you're going to just keep hitting the wall. But if nobody tells you this, you're going to say it's the pill. So then you try a different pill. Then you try a gel. Then you try a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You try a honey pack, right? You try in all these different things, but the issue is really here.
That's so nuts because you think the pill would be stronger than the mind.
It's absolutely not, man.
Wow.
Nothing outweighs the mind. That's why it's funny. You'll have guys who are struggling with ED, and this used to happen to me. I would have a girl struggle, right, because of the mental situation, and then let's say things don't work out, and then 2 hours later I'm watching Sports Center with like the boner of life, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because the anxiety's gone.
Holy
now
crap.
the pill is working, and most guys who are dealing with this, they notice that in the moment they might struggle, and then every other time it's like, oh, I'm good. Like I don't know what's going on, but the conversation is just wrong, man, because there's so much money making and selling the pills, selling the procedures, selling the shock therapy or whatever. Nobody's addressing the mental aspect of it. And then we're men too. Nobody wants to run into a therapist and say, hey, help me with my penis. You know what I'm saying? But there's nobody, we're not going to have this conversation, right? It's very few people extremely close to you that you're going to go to and say, hey, I'm struggling sexual as a male. That's not like the most masculine thing. So the book is the conversation that you don't want to have with anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, as you saw, I went through it. I tell these hilarious stories that are all relatable to the stuff we go through, but it makes light with the education. So most guys are able to read it, get motivated, and then find solutions.
Yeah. For me, you're reframing my mindset because I always thought it was a physical thing. I thought it was like a low testosterone thing. I thought it was like your physical health determines your ED.
No, because so testosterone is in two parts, right? There's total testosterone, so you'll hit a numbers 800, 900, 1,000, but then you have something called free testosterone. Free testosterone is actually what's responsible for your libido. So you will have a guy that'll get testosterone numbers checked, and let's say under 250 on most scales is low testosterone.
Right.
So I got a buddy who may have 180 testosterone total, but his free testosterone is a 52. So free testosterone 52, he's ready to go all day. you know, but he may not carry muscle and a bunch of strength or whatever, but his libido's fine. In my case, I had total testosterone of over 700, but my free testosterone was a 3.
Oh my God.
So I can get in shape, strong, whatever, but my sex drive was like non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of things people don't know, you know, you had these fad diets with like going on keto or, you know, certain ways of fasting, which these things are effective, don't get me wrong, but there's a fine line between doing it the right way and then putting your body in like a starvation mode because you're not eating enough, you're not getting enough calories, you're not being consistent enough. And when you go into a starvation mode, your body then basically sends a message that, well, if you can't feed yourself, you can't feed kids, right? So then you'll have testosterone drops. In my case, there's a hormone called SHBG that spiked, which binded to my free testosterone, which made my libido drop.
Jeez, so a 3.
To a 3.
I need to measure mine because I'll be honest, my sex drive isn't that high, especially for my age.
Yeah, and believe it or not, man, it could be something as simple as your diet being deficient in the right amount of nutrients.
Yeah.
Whether you're eating enough, whether you're, you know, whether you're just understanding that, okay, look, my levels are off, and then you're playing a mind game with yourself. You know, it's very simple fixes, man, but nobody's talking about it, right? Because it's easier to write you a script, and then we make money off of you getting the pills, or the corner store makes money, or the you know what I'm saying, whatever distributor that's selling online, they're pushing the financial gain instead of pushing what could really help people.
Yeah, I'm sure you tried it all because you went through some issues, right?
Listen, man, every single thing.
You even got the implant too.
yeah, like and that's what it is. And so with me, the implant's always an option.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell guys. There is a physical remedy for you, or there's a medical remedy, but if all else fails.
Right. It's like a last resort.
Yes, it's a last resort, and it's the best resort, right? And I would say at some point, because men, we decline, period, right? So the majority of men may be at this at some point, right? That's just nature and anatomy. Most guys go backward sexually. But there's too many guys that still enjoy sex, still want to have sex, but don't because they told themselves, well, I had my run, right? And they're experiencing some sort of problem, and they've given up on the fixes, and now they're in these sexless marriages and relationships where they stay in separate rooms and they don't touch each other. And men are accepting it because it's like, well, I'm not functioning right anyway.
Yeah.
So
sexless marriage, right?
let me just let it roll. But I guarantee you, if he knew he could perform anytime, any place, it's more motivation to keep your sex life alive. You know?
So what do you recommend for the mental side of things? Is it like a therapist or?
No, for the mental side of the thing is first and foremost, you have to believe it's the mental side of the thing because it's fear, it's anxiety-based, right? It's not, hey, it's just mental. It's going into every situation worried, am I going to fail? Is it going to work? If I put this condom on, will that work? You know what I'm saying? These are the things that get in your mind that cause doubt. So once you realize where the doubt is coming from and know that you're okay physically, then you can start adjusting that on your own. But if you're dependent on the pill or dependent on the testosterone booster or whatever it is that you told yourself you need, then there's no way you can adjust your mind because you're already, you know, per se addicted or reliant on something outside of yourself.
Got it. And your line of work, because you were a male stripper, this was really affecting your livelihood, right? Absolutely,
man. And not just the livelihood of it, it was affecting my personal life, right? Because being a stripper came with pressure, right? When women see you in this light, you're supposed to be the best sex you ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, the stripper, you see the moves and all that. And so you're gonna walk into that situation with added pressure because I got to live up to the Punisher, right? I got to live up to the hype. So that would create the anxiety that is like, well, I don't want to fall off. So let me pop this pill. Let me do these things. And I just had to really learn that it's not the pills the pills are not the end all be all. It's definitely an issue with how I project myself sexually. And if I think failure, then I'm gonna experience failure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you can't be walking around soft on the job, right?
Nah, that ain't gonna work, bro. You know?
Man. So what age did you get into that?
I started the male stripper thing at 22 years old.
Holy crap,
bro.
So right out of college.
Yeah, not even actually, I came home from a semester and never went back.
Wow.
Yeah, I never went back, and I started the dancing thing or whatever as a side hustle, and then it just became the main thing for the last 30 years.
Damn. Are you still doing it or are you retired now?
Still doing it.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Quince. As the weather cools, I'm swapping in the pieces that actually gets the job done, that are warm, durable, and built to last. Quince delivers every time with wardrobe staples that'll carry you through the season. They have fall staples that you'll actually want to wear, like the 100% Mongolian cashmere for just $60. They also got classic fit denim and real leather and wool outerwear that looks sharp and holds up. By partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middleman to deliver premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. They've really become a go-to across the board. You guys know how I love linen and how I've talked about it on previous episodes. I picked up some linen pants and they feel incredible. The quality is definitely noticeable compared to other brands. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/DSH for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. They're also available in Canada too.
Still doing it, man. But not as a main thing. Like I run a company that we do events every weekend.
Got it.
But if it's a scenario where we're short guys or whatever, I'll still jump up there.
Damn.
You know?
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So the money's nice.
The money's nice, man. The money's nice. But it's a tradition thing, right? I won't say the money's nice for, let's say, a guy that's an individual dancer just running around. That's a hustle. But once you realize men are going to get married, they're going to have a bachelor party. So the ladies want a bachelorette. And if you can set up a circumstance where they can come out and celebrate, you know, there's always a market for that.
Right.
And so once you tap into it, it's consistent good money. Yeah.
And what's your biggest cities right now for the market?
New York City, Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Miami, and actually Scottsdale, Arizona.
Really? So not Vegas?
No, so Vegas is a lot of competition.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of competition. Is, you know, you're going to have all the other shows that, you know, women can choose to go there. So, you know, if you really want to capitalize, you want to go to non-competitive markets because then it's easy to pull it in.
Yeah. You said something really interesting on a podcast. You said only 10% of the women you dealt with were attractive.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about on the whole of ladies that arrive to the shows. And, you know, that number's skewed, right? So if you get 500 women, right? If you say 10% of these 500 women are going to be extremely attractive, now we're talking 50 ladies, right? 50 out of 500. And I honestly think that's probably normal ratios when you're walking around, you know, unless you're going to like high-end clubs or whatever, you see more attractive. But if you just took, you know, 500 random women and stuck them in a place, you'll probably pick out 50 that you think are extremely hot. Another 450, you know, it varies, right? So that is the ratio. But hey, look, man, guys talk about every girl got to be hot, and that's definitely, let's say, if you're who you're going to date, who you're going to marry, who you're going to sleep with. But I don't care what these women look out. You walk into a place with 500 women, and it could be 450, like St. Bernards, right? You know what I'm saying? If they scream, "Oh my God, you're so hot," you know what I'm saying? You're gonna love it, bro. Like I don't care. I'm sorry, man. You can give me 450 grandmothers. If they screaming I'm hot, I'm happy to be there.
I love that. Yes, you're still hearing it. You're not seeing them, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, they're there, but still, how many times as a guy have you just walked down the street and girls like whistling at you? Like, whatever.
Can't think of a single time.
Bro, we never experienced that, right? So don't underestimate the ego stroke, you know what I'm saying, of women screaming from you, no matter what they look like, bro.
Did you feel on top of the world? Like your ego must have been insane.
Oh, bro, forget about it. Man. Like, you know, I said before, I walked around, it's like I heard theme music everywhere I went. Like, who's the man? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's something that I feel like every guy should experience in some way. Yeah. Because it's kind of cool, man.
You were living like Dan Bilzerian.
Dude,
you know?
That's the guy.
Yeah, because he was having parties 10-to-1 ratio. So 10 girls to one guy. Dude. That's pretty much the environment you're in.
Yeah, dude, constantly. My entire adult life.
Wow.
That was the environment.
That's rare for guys. Usually it's the opposite at parties and clubs and stuff.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is, for me, that's expected for a guy like Dan, right? Because he's widely successful, the money, the atmosphere, or whatever. This is done as like a regular guy. Right. So I'm not going to experience that any other scenario, but in club, at work. But I still experience it.
Good
right?
point.
But it creates something, right? Because growing up in that atmosphere where I walk in and there's hundreds of women and they're all there to see me and the other guys and all the attention. Now you put me in a regular club and I'm like, this sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because you take away that kind of pedestal experience, man, which, like I said, man, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I feel that. Well, clubs these days in general suck, I heard.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a business model now. So everything's going to just be set up in sections. They're going to make you extremely uncomfortable unless you buy one of these sections with these $50 bottles of alcohol at 10X. You know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
And I'm not mad at them. It's a great business model, but it does take away the enjoyment of being in the club unless you're one of these spending top dollar for the experience, you know?
So you started at 22. When did the invites to the exclusive parties start, like the celebrity parties?
The invites in terms of the case started in 2012.
Okay.
In terms of getting propositioned for like these exclusive parties or whatever, those are constant.
Okay. So that started right away?
I won't say right away. It started more or less when the internet process in terms of shopping online for what you need, when that became big.
Oh, so people could just order it online.
Yeah. So for example, like even with me being found with the Diddy Cassie situation, that was a Google search.
Oh, wow.
So my male review business would come up in the top 3 consistently of if you wanted to hire male strippers. So they must have just Googled male strippers in New York City. I came up and the number called was answered. So that's where most of the propositions come from. You'll get random calls like, hey, would you want to hire somebody for my wife? You know, I have a certain event, but it's going to be an NDA, and they kind of inquire. And then you don't know who you're showing up for, but it could be some of the biggest celebrities in the New York area. Yeah, man.
I would have assumed like it was word of mouth. I wouldn't assume they're just looking on Google for this type of stuff.
No, I think they're just looking on Google randomly because word of mouth is like, who do you tell?
Yeah,
it's like, hey, can you refer somebody to bang my wife? like, that'd be super cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who do you refer? So I think it's more of a trial or error thing. So like a big deal was made with, people must think it was some sort of crazy fetish thing. But, I mentioned even when I showed up for the Diddy situation, he had a veil on.
Right.
Yeah. And,
you didn't know.
Yeah. So I didn't know. Yeah. But people hear the veil and think it's a kink thing. It's not a kink thing, right? It's I don't want this person to know who I am.
Right.
And I'm going to the extreme till I can vet them till it's comfortable enough where I can let them know. So getting random calls is never going to be a word of mouth thing. It's going to be, hey, a trial and error. Let's try this guy out and see if it works. And if they get comfortable, then you know who it is and give them information.
Did you know when he spoke by his voice, like who it was? Or
I had no idea, man. With me, and this literally went almost the whole scenario went 2.5 years. This went maybe a year. It was about a year to 15 months in before I figured out who it was.
Really?
And I figured it out cutting on the TV.
Cutting on the TV?
Yeah, because we were in a suite. And this hotel had a welcome message. So when I cut on the TV said, Essex House looked like the welcome, Mr.
That's
Sean
crazy.
Combs. And that's the only way I figured it
Wow.
out.
But you didn't know who Cassie was at the time?
Dude, her face looked familiar, but I could not put it together.
Wow.
I couldn't put it together. And what really was throwing me off, I was like, this chick looks familiar, but they introduced themselves as a married couple. So I'm Google searching married.
Right.
So they're never going to come up because they weren't married.
Oh.
So, and then at some point I gave up. But I knew she looked familiar. And I think if she wasn't wearing the wigs, because she had this very obvious shaved head haircut. And if I would have saw that, I probably would have put it together.
Yeah.
But the wigs threw me off.
That's nuts. Was he watching every time?
Every time.
Holy crap.
Yeah, every time. I think that's a part of what it is. And the thing is, it's coming out now as like, wow, this holy crap thing, right? But that's super common, man. Like
really?
It's super common for guys to hire other dudes to sleep with their girlfriends.
I like the elite level you're saying?
So this is a dynamic I usually see. You'll see a guy usually in a range of a minimum what appears to be 20 years older than his woman, right? So you get this guy that maybe he met his woman at he was 45 and she was 25, right? And now they've been together 15 years. And she's 40, which women go into the height of their sexual desires.
At 40?
Late 30s,
oh, wow.
mid 40s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're in their peak where they They want it all the time. Their hormones are going crazy, right? And now this guy's 60 years old, and he's like, I can't keep up.
Right.
So a lot of these guys will go out and then hire guys to supplement, but they do it under a scenario where, okay, I'm in control, right? If you just send your 45-year-old hot wife out to find a lover, right? Now, if you're not involved in it, she can catch feelings, he can catch feelings, they can fall in love, and then it's like, divorce your husband, we can be together.
So it's like
right?
supervised.
Yeah, let's spend his money, right? You know what I'm saying? So these guys say, well, look, I can't keep up, but if I find the guys to keep her happy, but it's under my control, she's happy, and then I don't have to worry about the divorce aspect or whatever. And then if this guy has some sort of fetish where he can possibly get off or have some enjoyment, then it's a win-win.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a good point. Because like Bill Belichick, for example, he's like, what, 80 years old?
Yeah, like how?
His girl's 20-something.
Yeah, how at some point it is going to be nothing he can do.
Yeah, he can't keep up with that.
Yeah, so if he actually loves her and cares about her, then he's going to create some sort of consent just in a place where he doesn't feel threatened.
Right. That's interesting. Did the we'll get into the trial a little bit. Did it help or hurt your business in any way, the Diddy trial?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't help. I think it hurt me as an individual.
Really?
Yeah, as an individual.
How so?
And a lot of it could be in my mind, right? Because for the most part, being involved in this, I would say I landed on my feet where from a public opinion for being involved in this and being considered an escort prostitute or whatever, people don't look at me crazy, right? But there's still a vast majority of people who see the victim experience of Cassie and just my involvement in the period as a black guy, right? Because the trial wasn't televised. A lot of people really are basing their facts off of a report they had on the
social
internet.
media.
Yeah, so I'll have a woman from time to time send me a nasty message saying, oh my God, how could you urinate on Cassie? And it's like, I'm not the guy that's the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm getting this.
You get mixed up in it?
Yeah, I get mixed up in it. So a lot of my negativity comes from being mixed up in it. So if you got a group of 20 ladies and they say, hey, look, we want to hire this guy, let's get the Punisher guy, right? 18 of them could be on board, but then there's just got to be 2 like, oh my God, you're going to hire him or whatever, and they'll...
Damn. It's
so
just like negative PR about you?
Negative. Yeah, the negative PR is going to affect to some degree. And it's usually the people who are negatively affected are the people who don't even have the right details.
Right.
But I can't get around that. You know? So it's you know, you manage it the best you can. For the most part, it's been positive vibes, but you know, it's gonna limit in some way.
Did you feel like the trial played out how you thought it would, like in terms of like being guilty on 2 charges, right? 2 out of the 5.
Yeah, so I didn't think he was gonna get racketeering or sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Based on the consent, right? It was just too much consent.
Yeah, you probably signed a bunch of shit with them, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't sign anything.
Oh, really?
It was hiding itself. Yeah, but even the people, signing the NDAs didn't matter because once things go criminal, an NDA is void.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
so
that.
if there's a criminal act, because that's why Cassie had to sign an NDA when he settled out with her.
Right.
But once there's a crime, it just voids it. So, I really think that. Man, I lost my train of thought.
He wasn't found guilty.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I knew they weren't going to get him on that. What they got him on the transportation for prostitution was just on his face clear because he bought plane tickets for some of the guys. Obviously, he flew them in.
Yeah.
So I knew that, but I don't know how you get trafficking for your girlfriend of 10 years.
That is an interesting dilemma, right?
Yeah, because where I thought they were going to get him, which the jury ignored, was the government said you only need one instance where maybe she didn't want to, and he coerced her. But it's like...
That's hard to prove though, right?
Or that's hard to... Yeah, like in a 10-year relationship, you may have, hey, let's do it. No, I got a headache. Oh, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get those scenarios. So I think it's hard to pick through somebody's entire relationship and say maybe this night she didn't really want to and he pushed her and now he's sex trafficking her.
It's very interesting, man, because there's a few high-profile cases lately. Like the Shannon Sharp one, they had sex over like 100 times, and then he gets hit with that grape charge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then has to settle. But it's like, at what point does it become that if you're having consensual sex for so long?
Yeah, and so that's the thing about it. I think the settling part came from strategy, right? Because if you look at the details, she was threatening him with I'm gonna release a book, I'm gonna tell his stuff, settle out with me, and he was saying, no, I'm not. Like, I don't have to settle out with you. All that was consensual. But there's a thought process that when you sue somebody's business entities because of their insurance policies, you line yourself up with a settlement quicker because the businesses want to protect the endorsements and stuff. They want to get away from that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was realized is right after that lawsuit settled, every business entity that he was a head or he was affiliated with, he resigned to sold his stocks.
Oh, yeah, Ciroc, right?
The liquor companies, the Revolt TV, the clothing, everything he headed, he resigned from it.
Wow.
Because now these additional suits can't just name his business entities and tap into their insurance policy.
Yeah, because he had some serious equity in some of these.
Yeah, so it's when he sold everything, I think some people just looked at it as, why is he liquidating or whatever? But that just common sense, right? Once you remove yourself from being involved with the company, you take away the liability with the company.
That's a good point, because people don't know this, but when you get sued personally, it's really hard to collect that money even if you win.
Super hard, but if you sue the business and they got insurance policies, they almost settle with you immediately.
Yeah. No, for sure, because if you're solo, you put that shit in a trust, you hide your money in businesses, like
you'll never get it.
You'll never get it.
You'll never
Especially
get it.
These celebrities, they know how to structure that shit.
Yeah. But the business, the association with the business is that's really where you always get paid. It's always the insurance policy. So even when people are saying, "Oh, look, he settled with her immediately," he didn't settle with her immediately. The insurance settled with her immediately. If you look in the back end, he was in negotiations. He was going back and forth. His previous attorney said that he was going back and forth, and it was close, but it got to the point where we're filing. And once it filed and it got to the insurance companies, it was like, this got to go.
Ton of civil cases, too, he's dealing with.
Yeah, like they're all, they're just trying to deal with the settling, right? I don't think anybody is really going to make it to trial.
Too expensive for most of them.
Right, too expensive. And some of them will go to trial, but, the cost factor ends up being what saves me more money to litigate this all the way to the end, which... at his legal fees and stuff like that, it could be significantly more than what he was settled
seven
with.
figures probably, honestly.
And he may be able to settle it. Most of these he could probably settle for $100,000.
Yeah.
Did
you have to spend a ton on legal yourself?
So when I called for legal, just to retain somebody, it was going to be $20,000.
Jeez, just to retain them.
Just because the minute they hear Diddy,
they think you have a ton of money.
Yeah, so I ended up taking the court appointed. Which was nerve wracking too, because look, nice guy or whatever the case may be, but law is a fraternity, right? So the way that I looked at it is, look, I have an attorney serving me allegedly, but he can serve me to the fullest, or he can work more towards the Southern District of New York City and kind of make a nice relationship with this legal team or go out of his way to protect. And I just believe, this is me, but I just believe most attorneys are going to protect their
100%
relationship before doing the absolute best.
That's their livelihood. I don't even blame them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, man. Come on. If you're a single attorney, a small firm, and you got a favor owed by, you know what I'm saying? Because so I never felt comfortable with representation.
That sucks. And in a case like that, especially, like it's so public.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I never felt comfortable.
Could you you basically couldn't afford top lawyers, right?
I didn't want to invest in that, man. I really didn't.
Because there's no, I guess, gain for you to do that.
Yeah, because there was no legal charges towards me, right? There's no legal charges, no anything. I definitely participated in prostitution, right? Whether I knew it knowingly or not, but it was no statute of limitations.
Oh.
So they couldn't charge me with anything. I didn't need a some sort of non-prosecution agreement or immunity or any of these things. I just had to get up there and tell the truth, you know, and I was not playing with being truthful. There are some manipulative things that go into how they want you to testify, and I was trying to stay away from that.
Really? Who was trying to make you do that?
Well, so it's how they want to frame your testimony, right? So I think the big part, everybody's confused why I was up there, because I went up there for the prosecution and it appeared that I greatly helped the defense. Even one of Diddy's lawyers was on Pierce Morgan. Yeah. And he asked her directly, hey, the guy to punish her, he went up for the prosecution, but I believed he was helpful for the defense. And she said, I agree, you know, absolutely. And the one part of my testimony where there would be a lot of directions given, right? And these directions would be small stuff. Hey, move the camera, move this and the other. And I seen Cassie express frustration, but the frustration would be more like, oh boy, you know what I'm saying? And so I worded that. I expressed that because I was asked, hey, did you ever see frustration? I said, well, only frustration to the directions. So, and I said she would sigh, and the word wince came up, right? Now, wince is not one of my normal vocabulary words. I usually know exactly what words I use, but let's even say I said it, right? Wince was the wrong word. Right, because when I had to look it up myself, and it says that there's pain experience. That's not what I viewed. So let's say on the stand, the question would be, you said that you would see Cassie wince or sigh. Is that correct or not? Right. So if I just answer it yes, that's how they want you to answer it, yes, then wince or sigh could have been from the sex. You know what I'm saying? It could have been from intimidation, you know. So I would go out my way to testify as yes to the directions. But they don't want you to say that, right? They just want you to blink it to yes, and then the blink it to yes can mean
they don't let you explain.
They don't want you to explain. So what I went out of my way with my testimony was any questions that were wording that could seem like there was abuse, I just wanted to be clear. So I would say yes to the directions, not necessarily, because you hear wince and, you know what I'm saying? Like, and wince is not a word that I would use, but if I did use it out of context, I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, I don't ever hear people saying that word, to be honest, these days.
I don't.
That's like a grandparents' generation, I feel like.
Exactly.
One of those words.
Yeah.
New York's known for like the toughest court system too, so that must have been pretty intimidating for you.
Oh man, forget about it, man. And I thought I was ready, you know, and saw like 10 Judge Judy episodes, right? But now when you walk in there, man, it's
live audience, right?
And it's super intimidating, man. The ceilings are super high. The judge sits up high. All the furniture's huge, and I was reading up on it. They also keep like the room extremely cold, so you get in there and it's like cold. You're tense, and brisk. It's very tense.
Wow,
man.
That must be a psychological thing.
Yeah, dude. By the time I got to stand, I was shaking. I kept it cool, but I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then there's fear involved, right? 100%. I'll be the first to say that. Like, you know, I'm coming in to testify where guys gonna get life in jail. Yeah. Right. So just the fact that's like, man, like I'm a part of this major scenario. Right? Yeah. It's just everywhere.
It's a big case. Like it's gonna go down in history, I think.
Forget about it, man. It's the equivalent of the OJ case. Yeah. Which how long ago was that, right? So we're talking 94, 2025.
Yeah, 30 plus years.
Yeah, that's how these cases come along.
That's nuts. That's nuts. And were you on good terms with Diddy and Cassie beforehand?
I mean, I hadn't heard anything from them. Yeah, so for years, for 12, 13. But I know everything ended on good terms. But I didn't look at them coming into the courtroom. Yeah. But you got to feel that, you know, there was going to be negative tension. Number one, just because I'm coming in to testify for the prosecution. So that means, you know, my likelihood my testimony may be damaging. And then the first guy completely threw him under the bus.
Jeez.
Yeah, the first guy that testified. And I ended up, you know, meeting the guy after the fact. Yeah. And, you know, I can honestly say after meeting him, hearing his testimony on the stand, and then he did a few interviews where his testimony completely changed. It's like...
I don't like that. If you're gonna be that bold, you gotta stay consistent.
You gotta stay consistent.
You know what I mean?
Man.
You gotta own that shit,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing it in a court setting.
Yeah, man. And then that's one of the things that throws me off, because the first thing, once I got off the stand and I spoke to my attorney, he was like, "Look, if you're gonna do interviews, it's fine, but your testimony has to match what you say in the interview."
Right.
So the next guy doing a complete 180 on his testimony or whatever, I'm like, man, he better hope federal government don't knock on his door. You know, like.
Did they throw his testimony out because of that?
Well, I think he they didn't throw him out, but he had a tough time on cross-examination.
Okay.
Because he said things on the stand that when you got to his interviews with the federal government prior, they were two completely outcomes.
Oh, wow.
And that's the thing. His inconsistencies were damaging, right? So, for example, they asked him, he said he heard Cassie getting beat up in the back room. Mm-hmm. So they said, what happened after? And he said on the stand that Diddy came out allegedly after beating her up and then asked him, was he ready to have sex with her? Which looks, I just beat a woman up. Now I'm going to force her to have sex, right? That sounds crazy. But then he said in his interviews that when Diddy came out from the fight, he said, this is not happening today. You got to get out. So you said that in your interviews, but on the stand, he tried to make you have sex with her. So that's like a huge inconsistency.
That is pretty big.
You know what I'm saying? But that inconsistency, which is a huge detail, could be the difference in somebody going to jail or not.
That's crazy.
You know, so it's like you can't
play around with that.
Can't play around with that, man.
So the federal government was interviewing the witnesses before the trial?
Absolutely, man. You go witness, you do witness prep, you even do cross-examination prep. They have you ready for what's going to be said and what's not going to be said. So it was interesting how he changed his complete story from one to the other. And then with me meeting them, they were, was talk about him and one of the other escort guys, they wanted to get together and make like a 3-man podcast.
Oh, really?
And we got together to talk about it or whatever. And I could hear this guy, I'm going to watch his testimony and get the information. And I hear the guy just lying. Like he's making up stuff, like we call it capping in New York, man. I was like calling this guy Captain America, like, cause he was just lying about everything, man. And I was like, I just don't understand it, man.
That's nuts.
People, there's rumors, right? They're not real, but there's rumors that they try to pray out that, Diddy could be a threat, right? Mm-hmm. And if this is true or not, the last thing you want to do with a guy that could be a threat is then give false damning testimony about him to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't know, man.
I saw a lot of those rumors. Like he's trying to pay off the witnesses. He's trying to be violent.
Yeah, man. They thought I was getting some rumors just because I testified honestly that, he must have paid him off. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I wish, man. I'm running around trying to do every interview possible to sell my book, not to, you know what I'm saying? Not to, if Diddy paid me off, I'll be in Bali. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
the feds don't lose, man. That's another thing. Like 98% rate, right? Conviction rate.
Yeah, it was something crazy like 97%.
So I don't even think he could pay people off to win. Like, I don't think it would have been possible. Yeah, there was too much evidence.
Too much evidence, bro. How do you do that?
Yeah, the video was like pretty damaging too of him beating up Cassie.
Yeah, but the bad thing was it was just improperly charged. Like the video is domestic violence.
Yeah.
Right. So,
how did that get leaked? I didn't look into that actually because I know that allegedly he paid off the hotel $50K or something to not.
Well, yeah, he paid off a couple of guys that worked for the hotel, but you know how it is, man. Money talks, right? Yeah. So the guys probably never actually destroyed the video. And then I'm somebody who experienced this. When the feds come knock, that's it. Because they're going to find out about those guys from Cassie. Mm-hmm. She's the star witness, right? So she's going to recall, hey, it was this time. He beat me up. We paid the people. This was the guy we paid. So that's how they probably found the video. Just like how they found me. Like I only ever dealt with her and him. So if they want to know who the male escorts was, she has to.
I just thought it was weird that it got leaked on social media before it was in the court records.
Well, I think that's part of the game.
Yeah. That's when I read the news now or watch social media, I'm like, okay, why is this being presented to me? You got to think like that these days.
Of course, yeah, because they want it leaked, right? Because the minute it gets into evidence, it can be sealed, right? Yeah. So you want it to leak, and that's going to help with your indictment. Mm-hmm. right? Because if there's a lawsuit filed, right? I touched on that with you. I always thought the lawsuit was filed as not necessarily I ever want to go to court, but it's number one, I'll file a lawsuit, maybe he'll settle. And if the lawsuit doesn't settle, it sets the stage for my book, because you can't just write a book about somebody that's invasion of privacy. Right. You'll get sued, right? So I file a lawsuit, now it's public record. If the lawsuit doesn't go through, now at least public record allows me to talk openly about my book. It's a win-win. And then it worked perfectly. The settlement happened, but I don't think she ever probably wanted it to go to where it went. But when you file a lawsuit with alleged rape and these type of things, it's almost irresponsible for law enforcement to not check to see if there was an actual crime. If you really look at, if you want to go into like Deshaun Watson, right? Yeah. When these cases was filed, they did a legal investigation, but they saw no crime. So almost every one of these high-profile allegations, there's a legal investigation, and they decide. So with the legal investigation, this became all this stuff. But I don't think I would bet that there's no way Cassie wanted this to go to.
Yeah, there's a lot of personal stuff that got leaked.
She already was compensated. Why would she want that story?
Right. Yeah, because she already got paid before the trial, right?
Yeah, there's no reason. I think I would almost say it was almost like, to some degree, she was forced, right? To, hey, listen, we have a legal case, you got to testify, and there's an intimidation factor where how do you say no to the government? And think about it. He's in a RICO by himself, right? And the only reason why he's by himself is because all his co-conspirators testified against him.
Interesting.
So there could be a threat, and this is me speculating, right? Because I don't want the government coming for me, right? But if Cassie does not become the star witness, then she's a co-conspirator.
Wow. Yeah, I did see talks of that online too, though.
Yeah, so it's like either testify against him or you could be on trial right next to him.
Yep. Yeah, I was seeing people saying, like, why isn't she being charged?
Yeah. So it didn't say it directly, but she could have had like an immunity agreement or something like that, and that's why she's not a conspirator.
Well, I think there was a lot of pressure on the government to move forward with this case on social media.
Yeah, and also I thought it's also a career move, right? Like if you are the prosecutors that take down Sean Combs, right? Like that's a career making case.
100%. You'll be set for life at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, if it was any Joe Blow with the same scenarios, nobody's going to prosecute that, right? But I mean, look how this thing was covered, right? This thing was covered so largely that here I am 3 months after on one of the largest platforms still talking about it, right?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Because it's a big deal.
And you'll be getting on many more after this,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. like I'm, I laugh, right? Because, the Dave Chappelle skit when he talks about Monica Lewinsky. Yeah. It was like, how powerful can you be of a guy where it's like, give me a blowjob, there's a future in it, right? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look at her now. She's going on a podcast tour herself.
My man. And so here it is, right? I'm somebody that, because I'm part of this, right? Like I'm possibly infamously famous for the rest of my life just out of association.
Yeah,
that's
it's
how
nuts.
Big this guy is.
Dude, it's nuts. Being a high-profile man these days is pretty scary. There's a lot of cases going on right now.
It's super scary.
Like cases from 25 years ago, too. Like, you're not safe even if it happened 30 years ago.
And you know what's funny, man? Like, I really think about it, because I think about this a lot, right? It might have helped him. He was somebody that he videotaped everything, right? Imagine if he didn't. Because in the case, there was shows of videos, and then they interviewed one of the jurors, and he said all the videos were like calm, like regular sex.
Wow.
But what if he didn't have the videos?
Would have been worse, you think?
Yeah, because now you got to imagine, like she's painting a picture that I was under duress, right? That's her experience, right? I was forced to do these things, and we would hire some guy named the Punisher, right? right?
Yeah.
So what the first thing you're gonna think, like as soon as I heard my name, the Punisher, what was he doing? Right? And then if there's no footage to corroborate anybody's side, then it's just
He said, she said.
And whatever legal team could paint the ugliest picture. Right? So obviously the defense wanted to paint consent. Prosecution wanted to paint force and coercion. But if you can see the sex and it's mild and cool or whatever, but if you can't see, I think that makes it worse. So back to what you were saying about men being a threat, I feel like we're in a space and time where every successful man should record just about every encounter he has.
Wow, that's an interesting take.
You have to. You have to. I learned a very, very long time ago, I went to this place called the Spy Store in New York City, and we're talking like late 90s. And the guy was showing me this kind of like clock radio. It looked like every clock radio that was in the hotel at that time. And you would just take it with you and plug it in, and it recorded everything. And I'll never forget the guy said, hey, look, if Tupac and Mike Tyson had these, neither one of them would be in jail.
Wow.
Because it's going to record everything and timestamp it or whatever on little discs, and you just save it in a computer. But now if you get an accusation on this date and this time, and it's just your word against hers, now you
That's crazy.
And you'll be surprised how many guys operate from that standpoint.
Yeah, NDAs aren't enough, like you said. Once it goes criminal, they're void.
Once it goes criminal, they're void.
Yes, you need to actually. So I guess you need their consent to record, though, right?
Well, you don't.
Oh, you
but
don't?
What would you rather be, right? Would you rather be, if you don't have their consent to record and then you release it publicly, you messed up, right? But I'd rather be the rich guy that gets a lawsuit served and says, wait a second, I got that day in video. I would rather respond to the attorney saying, I have the whole thing on video, and you can see none of this stuff happens, and then deal whatever legal ramifications come for that. Then deal with, he raped me, or he sexually assaulted me, and it's my word against his, and now this is going to play out in public.
Right. Yeah, I need to tell this to Andrew Tate, man.
He's
dealing with a lot of girls going after him.
Yeah, man. You gotta. That's what I would do personally, man. I would just.
It's not the worst strategy I've heard, to be honest. Because what else are you gonna do? It's gonna be he said, she said. It's gonna be a settlement usually.
Yeah, and from the smallest scenario, this is a little hack. You get one of these Apple Watches. Yeah. And the worst case scenario, you put it on.
Oh, you can record on that?
Yeah, voice notes.
Oh, voice. So you think audio is good enough?
I mean, I would have something.
Right. Yeah, audio's probably better than nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a strategy.
If you keep on your watch and you just voice note and you get consent during the sex, you like that? I love it. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you could play that back aside from her saying he forced me. Something. You got to have something.
I know multiple really credible people around the Tyson case saying he didn't do that shit.
Yeah, man. It's just, the thing about that was, he performed oral sex on her, right? Not saying you can't force somebody to do that, but, he's trying to create pleasure for her at the same time as supposedly raping her.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, they obviously was the only two there. I think the moral of the story is if he was recording it or if he had something, it could be a completely different scenario. Yeah. And as a man, I want every scenario to prove my innocence.
100%. Well, Sharay, this has been fun, man. You still playing basketball these days?
Nah, man. I learned my lesson, man. I think I can still play in my mind. The funny thing is when you get older, I played one day and I felt like I was doing my thing and somebody showed me a video and I was like, oh, man, I look like Spice Adams out there. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just watching for now. No more hooping.
All right. Well, we'll have to play horse one of these days.
Oh, we can do horse, bro. We can do horse.
We'll do horse. Where can people find your book, man, and find you and keep up with you and everything?
Oh, yeah, man. In Search of Freezer Meat, it's available on Amazon, all major platforms. Good stuff, man. Just support it. Fellas, I tell you, if you're struggling with anything, it'll help you out. My Instagram's @GetPunished, and same thing with the TikTok, but that's about it. Keeping the light now.
Check them out, guys. Peace.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you.